Damn these people.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Late Night Snacks. Yes, Michael is on his way here, so he should be here soon. Di is taking a couple of days off. She's got some stuff going on at the moment, but we're still here. We're going to talk about episode 7 entitled Open House. So let's get this all started.
And everybody, make sure everybody's following our Facebook page because we're posting videos probably
Yeah.
daily. We'll see how often, depending on how long the pandemic lasts, right?
Pretty much.
But yeah, we have bonus content on there that you guys can check out. We had a mystery box opening last night, a horror mystery box opening last night. And then today we had shopping at the Dollar Tree during a quarantine. It was during a pandemic. Shopping
during
at
a
Dollar
pandemic.
Tree during a pandemic.
Hi,
oh my goodness, my dog's trying to kill me. Oh my God. Hey, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
You know, as soon as I walked into the Dollar Tree, somebody asked me where they could get one of my masks too. She worked at Amazon, and she's like, I can't find them anywhere. And I told her, I was like, hey, my husband had these way before all this happened. My husband's a prepper. We've had these. I know he just ordered a new one, so you can get them again on like wish.com or geek.com.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very true. I know. I started the whole prepper thing, but there's only 2 of us in our house right now, so we're not going totally berserk. But we're actually good to go.
I made toilet paper people. I know that sounds funny, but you know what I'll do? I'll post the picture on our Facebook group later so you guys can see some ideas on how you can make toilet paper people.
Yeah, keep an eye on our Facebook page because there's a lot of interesting content going up there right now because we're dealing with the pandemic and we're trying to keep everybody occupied with other stuff to think about.
Right.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
The craziness your mind wanders to during a pandemic and lockdown. I told somebody the other day, I said, you're going to start having cabin fever. I told my daughter because her dog, she doesn't live here anymore, but her dog's here and she won't take the dog, but I have to do it. Told her if she don't hurry up, I'm going to get cabin fever and cook the dog.
Oof.
I'm not going to cook the dog, but obviously.
I know, but she doesn't know. All right, so we're going to start discussing this and hopefully Michael's going to be able to show up here soon. So this episode was written by Brad Falchuk and directed by Tim Hunter.
We don't hear that name very often, though, do we?
No, we don't.
I'm saying because that doesn't sound very familiar.
No.
I mean, obviously, Brad Falchuk, we know that name. But, yeah, Tim Hunter.
And the episode opens with Constance sitting in the living room, and you hear the phone that's like disconnected, like somebody left it off the hook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the next thing you hear Larry asking her, what did they say? And basically, CPS is coming to take Bo. And
when they said severe child neglect, isn't that what they said?
Severe child neglect. That they're going to take Bo away and take her to jail. And he basically says, well, I love you and I would do anything for you. And then the next thing she says is, well, then do it like we
discussed or like we talked about or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then he's walking down the hall and he goes up to the attic. And that's where we find Bo chained up in the attic, and all he wants to play,
right?
Because
he has a very childlike mind. His mind hasn't evolved beyond child. I think Billy Dean, I believe she describes it that way later in Apocalypse when they do the Return to Murder House. I think that's when she describes Bo as childlike, or she just says childlike spirits, and maybe Constance says it in this season about Bo being, I don't know, but I know, they talk about, his mental state is very childlike.
Because in that same conversation with Larry before he goes up into the attic, she basically says, you know how Bo is. He doesn't do well without me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to be. And as I'm watching this, I'm like,
which is ironic, right? He can't be, but even if he can't be without her, okay, it's all about her now. He has to do this for her because, he can't be without her, but Bo can't be without her, but she can't go to jail. It's all about her. It's all about Constance. She doesn't even have the balls to go up to that attic herself.
I know she has him do it.
And I don't think she did it so that she would have someone to blame so she could, let him take the fall. I think she just couldn't do it. I think she didn't have the balls to do it. Which is saying a lot because Constance is ballsy. But I mean, I could understand too, not having the balls to kill your own kid, but
well, yeah, because she doesn't want it. She doesn't want anything on her hands.
Exactly.
It comes to that. Exactly. So we have Larry going up to the attic, and all Bo wants to do is play, and
his red rubber ball
with his ball, and it's just like you go up there. It's like, what kind of life does this poor kid have? He's chained up in the attic. Poor guy.
And you notice when Larry went up there, the first thing he was saying, he was like, Bo, Bo, are you up here? What are you doing? Or however he said it. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But regardless, how he was talking to him. And then he's like, it's bedtime. It's past your bedtime, or it's time for bed or something like that. And it's like, and they were talking to him like normal. So, I mean, that's normal for that kid though. Because that was his normal routine. Like that's what you would say to your child. And that's what he was doing. He was talking to him very calmly and quietly and, parent-like.
Right.
And so, like you said, he's chained up and everything like a creature of the night. And it's not like we don't even know if they let him out. We know he comes out later, but that's once he's, a spirit. So.
Yeah. It's just, and then, he has. Oh, hello. Michael is here. Hey.
How are you, honey?
I'm good. Busy morning.
Good.
All right.
We were just at the point where Constance sends Larry up to the attic.
Oh, wow, it's way into it.
Yeah.
Okay, Bo.
Yeah, and right now Bo's still alive. But Larry basically is like, God forgive me. I'm like, yeah, like someone's going to forgive you for what you're about to do.
Karma's a bitch.
Karma's a bitch.
Karma's a bitch. And she came back for him hot style, right?
This is 94. Wasn't Tate 94 as well?
Yeah.
Which
Tate
came first?
was also 94, yeah. 94 was a busy year for that house, I guess.
Yeah, and you know what? Obviously what happened... No. What happened with Tate with the school didn't happen yet because we see them all at the dinner table at one point. Where Tate, talked about her and her fake life with Larry. So,
but also
we don't know what month, that happened with Tate. Obviously, it was during the school months. But, so Tate was still there when Larry was with Constance.
Right.
And Tate's going to go do him right before the school.
Right, because that's when Tate lights him up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how did they keep all that from Addie?
Right.
That's a good question, right?
You know what, though, Addie? You know what? I don't care what anybody says. She may not have said anything, and she may have said, what she said when she talked to Billy Dean about, I know the truth now about Tate. Mm-hmm. But I think, like you said, she went to the other side. She found out the truth of everything. But she's not stupid. Addie's a very smart, bright girl. And you see that throughout this season. So I totally think she knew. But she's like, it's not my problem. I don't want to deal with it. I have my own issues. I'm not getting involved. And that's what she saw growing up around her, too, though, is that you didn't get involved with other people's stuff. You had other people deal with it. You know what I mean? Even with
referring to all the stuff that went on with the Harmons, too, about the raping.
Right.
all that stuff. So that's what she could
Yeah.
be referring to.
She knows about all that stuff now.
Right.
Yeah.
So he ends up smothering him with a pillow. That I have a problem with that. It's like, that is just like, no.
It was sad. It was really sad. It was like we kind of ended, not ended, but closer to the end on the last episode on the heartstrings with the Addie talking to Constance and everything. And then we end up, with this at the beginning.
Yeah, and now we have this, and then right after that we get the opening credits. So
right.
Constance wouldn't do it.
That's what I was saying right before you came on. She didn't have the balls to do it herself, and that she made it was all like I was saying. It was all about her. She got off the phone. She told Larry, "I can't go to jail. I can't go to jail." Mm-hmm. And then she says, "If you love me, you'll do this for me." And she says, "Bo can't be without me. You know how he is." And it's all about her. It's not about anybody else. And then she didn't even have the balls to do it herself because, and like I said, I don't think it's because she was worried about, making Larry take the fall. Maybe that was a side thought, but it was because she couldn't do it herself. She knew she couldn't, even if she was going to get away with it. I think she knew that it was like, even if she hated him, she knew it was still her child and she couldn't do it.
Yeah. Right. Well, besides the daughter, we know she abused all of them, but she didn't kill any of them. Right. We know. We don't know if she killed the little girl.
Well, yeah, we still don't know about the fourth. So
yeah,
but the way that the spirit came to her in Apocalypse when she was introduced seemed loving and everything. But I mean, who knows? Maybe she forgave her. I don't know.
We don't know.
That's one of my biggest things that I want Ryan Murphy before this series ends, whenever that is, to explain to me a little furthermore, and maybe not even all the way, but even a little something. I need to know something about Rose.
Well, yeah, because it's like they just in there.
I like the older brother theory better.
Yeah, I like that theory better.
Who decided she wasn't going to have eyes, and then they knew that was going to make people go, "What?" And they're not going to answer anything. Come on, don't do that.
The other story with the brother added so much to Constance's story that she was, she was homophobic, that she wouldn't accept this kid. Well,
and you know what would have made it interesting, because she had 4 kids, and they don't necessarily give you specifically a timeline about the 4th one, but it would have been cool if it was like Tate had a twin, like I said, and that's why, like when Tate impregnated Vivian, there ended up being twins because it runs in the family. And then, like you said, with your theory with Gallant from Apocalypse, that would even play in because it's Evan Peters playing it, so it could be the twin.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would be so much better in this little sweet girl popping out for a shot.
That would be really cool. You know what I mean? And they had that opportunity with Apocalypse because we didn't know specifically about the 4th child. They hadn't answered that yet. And, they had it all open right there where they could have done that and connected them, because they've already decided they're connecting them at this point.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like they would have forgot about him because they filmed that scene with him. They cast him.
Right. Yeah.
And instead we have that question of where did Rose come from, and why, why is she still so young and Addie's older and blah, 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 that kind of thing.
It falls of trying to connect everything. I'm telling you.
I know.
And they could have. That's the thing. It's like you worry about loopholes and you worry about, plot points that don't make sense and all this stuff. And it's like, once you decided you're going to connect it from that point on, you have the opportunity to do it. And that right there was just a perfect opportunity to connect something small that's background story. Because we don't even have to know more story on him specifically. I mean, yeah, it'd be great, but it explains at least where this 4th child came from and what it is, and it makes sense.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so after the opening credits, when we get it back in, we have the scene with Vivian and Ben in the doctor's office again.
I know when you're pregnant, you go to the doctor a lot, but and even when you're older, because you're high risk, because trust me, I just went through it, because if you're over 35, it's high risk. 36 too old to have a kid. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that was a little weird too. I mean, I understand for plot points why, but do you guys notice like even when the other nurse fainted, when she went for the amnio and just all those other doctor's appointments, like if you think about it, they didn't even have to add any of that in. They could have just, passing by said, "Oh, I have my doctor's appointment today." And then she comes home and tells Ben about it, because those characters, obviously they weren't developed, but like we said, like the acting wasn't that great. The people they chose weren't memorable or anything. And it's like even their lines were like forced and not memorable and over the top. And it just like the whole medical side of her pregnancy could have just been written out.
And the fact there's multiple appointments, and she keeps going back and going back.
That's what I'm saying. It's like every day, every other day she has an appointment, and you do eventually, but not in the first. Not in the first trimester.
The one where the nurse fainted was really the only one they needed. They didn't need the rest of it.
Yeah, they didn't need anything. And even that they didn't need. We could have seen, because the whole point of that was to tell us that the nurse saw a demon baby on the ultrasound. And then we're, with the scene with Vivian with her stomach and the claw came out last time, they could have simply shown just something like that with like a claw on her stomach or something. It didn't even have to involve the medical people, like I said.
No, exactly.
Yeah, because in this scene, you basically have Vivian going, we want to make sure everything's okay with the baby, make sure the baby doesn't have hooves or anything like that. They had to throw that in. And I was just like, well, that really wasn't necessary. And that's when you find out that they're having twins.
Right.
And,
that's one thing about Ryan Murphy shows, where especially American Horror Story, that it's even here in this season. They do these little sidetrack plot points, kind of just veer off and kind of do something, and then don't go anywhere. All the way from like these little stories all the way to like introducing new characters. It's weird. Like when the Black Dahlia comes in, and it's a whole side story that literally has nothing to do with any of our central characters.
Right.
And like in Asylum, the whole Anne Frank business, that has nothing to do with any of our central characters. It's like all of these little subplots that he does. He's just like, I don't know if it's to fill time. Maybe they should be cutting their seasons down a little bit shorter, or I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Mel?
I'm adjusting my camera. Sorry, my hand's covering the.
It's like, what are you doing?
I'm trying to put my camera on the tripod. Damn it! Don't turn off, phone.
Yeah.
Pushing the button.
Sure. It's Ryan Murphy style.
Son of a.
Did we do the writer director of this episode?
Yeah, I already did that. The writer was Brad Fulchek, and the director was Tim Hunter. Do we know who it is?
That's a new one.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yep, it's new.
Yeah, that one's new. So then we finally. So now we see Marcy's showing the house again. They're doing the open house, and you get to see Mr. S.
When Larry comes in for the open house.
The person.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. We should start picking a line of the episode, because it's hard to pick one for the season, but a line, like the line of the episode, because Marcy's line about many men would love to ravage me. I'm like, oh, you go, girl. You go, Marcy.
Yeah, there's a lot of good lines. We should do that.
Well, and the fact that she's showing the house to Mr. Eskandarian, and basically this house was redone by some really good homos, and then she tries to fix herself and go, homeowners. Oops, meant homeowners. Homeowners.
Yeah, that was great. I fucking love Marcy, man. That character is great.
Oh, on a little side note, because we're gonna get on the murder tour here in a second. One thing I was thinking about is, how we're getting a lot of early 1984 stuff in here, and then they talked about, on the crime bus, they talked about the OJ thing, and Ryan did. I wonder if Ryan had pre-thought, maybe not now, but maybe earlier, had pre-thought about doing the Sal Mineo story, because it's like everything that he talks about, like kind of he's developed, he's like done. It's very interesting that they filmed a bunch of Sal Mineo stuff, and I wonder if he was developing them. It would have been a good American crime.
That's really interesting.
Because he has a tendency, he has more than one story going on at one time, and then he picks one, and that's how he does it. So that would make sense. Sal Mineo
would make a really good American crime story.
Yeah.
Well, the next one's impeachment.
Yeah,
Is it?
it's
Of who?
It's impeachment. Clinton.
Of who? Of Clinton?
Yeah. Remember they wanted to do the whole Monica Lewinsky story and everything?
The scandal that's going on right now would make a better American Crime Story.
Yeah, but they can't do it right now because
the story hasn't ended. The story doesn't have an ending yet. So
Bill Clinton.
I think we're going to end up getting a story like that eventually, but it has to end first. So he,
And I don't like the idea of two Ryan Murphy productions that are all about Trump, basically, because then I don't know. I just feel like you're glorifying Trump. I mean, and not that he is, but I just feel like don't feed into the horse,
Yeah, I think the whole Monica Lewinsky thing is so overblown, so stupid. It just shows Republicans just being idiots. I mean, that miss was nobody's business but his.
I believe they said they were going to do the Diana story, and then they ended up.
Well, I thought they started, and I tell you now, depending on what happens to Prince Charles, that nobody's going to be doing any of the royal family on film. It would be very interesting to see if the crown even goes forward, because if Prince Charles does a coronavirus, that's going to change the royal family forever. It's going to absolutely devastate the royal family.
Yeah.
Well, and then not to mention the Queen's going to die pretty soon. I mean, you can live a long time, but she don't have that much longer left.
No, max another decade, if that.
Right.
But I heard he was symptomatic. Was the last that I heard.
Huh.
So I don't know. Yeah. So I don't think anybody's going to be touching the Charles Diana story.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the episode.
Yeah.
So they're in the kitchen, and then of course you get to see Moira doing her whole flirty thing, because that's what she does. She's really good at it. And
tell Moira.
And then you have Mr. Eskandarian going, okay, the one question I have is what's wrong with this place? Because the property is more expensive. You could get more for just the property alone.
Yeah.
You see Marcy's eyes get kind of big, and that's when Vivian starts talking.
He's like, let me tell you, I'll tell you all the facts. This is what's going down.
And then it's like, are you trying to destroy my commission? She's like, no.
I'm just trying to sell this fucking house.
So that whole thing about the pool, and it's like, ooh, can we flirt anymore? It's like, okay, you're just a slut.
She says, how deep would you make it? Because I like it deep. And we got to remember, we're looking at her talking to him as Alexandria Breckenridge, as the young Moira. But then they pan over to Vivian and Marcy looking at her, and you see the old Moira, and you're like, oh wait, that's right, this is what they're seeing, because you see Vivian looking all disgusted when she's saying I like it deep. It's like hearing your grandma tell you about her sex life. It's like, no thanks.
This whole episode was like it was basically the whole thing was all about sex. The whole thing.
Very sexual, very sexual.
Very sexual.
Well, and they even talk, don't they, when they talk about the levels, Dante's Inferno, and they talk about the levels of hell. Like, didn't Ryan list Murder House as lust?
I think he did. I don't remember. I have to look back, but
I don't remember either, because it's all been debated, and then
Yeah, somebody broke it down. Shoot, I had to look it up. I don't think Murder House was lust.
I know Coven is treachery. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Freak Show is greed.
Mm-hmm.
Freak Show was greed. Asylum was what was it? Because it was lust, like with the Catholic Church and stuff. What's that one?
Let me just look it up.
I was gonna say, I know it. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. Because like the next scene after the whole kitchen scene, we have Vivian upstairs lighting candles in her bedroom. So then we have the whole thing where she's like fantasizing.
Who's that?
And then that was Mel's phone.
Oh.
Sorry.
So then we have where she's fantasizing about Luke, because you gotta do the whole
Morris Chestnut. Who wouldn't?
I know.
Limbo. Murder House is limbo. Lust had not been decided yet. Gluttony is hotel. Greed is Freak Show. Anger is Roanoke. Heresy is cult. Violence hadn't been decided yet. Fraud is asylum. And treachery is
Fraud.
covenant.
Fraud. That's what asylum was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I said, yeah, because it was connected with like the Catholic Church, and that was the fraud is what it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we have that whole scene with Vivian where she's fantasizing about. She starts with Morris Chestnut, but
Right.
then it gets into Ben, and I'm like, I don't want
it turns into Ben, and she looks disgusted, like she's being violated, but at the same time, she doesn't say anything to him or anything. She doesn't say stop or get off me or ew. Like she doesn't overreact like you would if somebody you're having sex with changes in front of your face.
Yeah. But then again, you see the rubber man, and she totally freaks out on that part.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because
And
I think the house is trying to tell her in her dreams, the rubber man was not your husband.
Yeah.
It wasn't Luke either.
Yeah, it's kind
It
of
wasn't Luke
informing her.
either.
Yeah.
No, that was how her fantasy started. That's why she lit the candles and everything.
Exactly.
And put on her nice nightie.
She had been on that booty call all season. She'd been trying to. She's like, oh,
let me tell you.
Well, yeah, and can you blame her? Hello. No. But and then let's see, what is next after that? We have
I didn't write it out.
That's when the alarm goes off, isn't it?
Well, pretty much I believe that is because the next scene is Violet and Tate up in their room, up in Violet's room.
Yeah, they're just talking about.
Yeah, because doesn't the alarm go off? Luke shows up at the door and she says, "My daughter must have set it off when she left earlier."
Yeah, that was from last episode, but
was it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
There was no alarm in this.
All my Morris Chestnut scenes just kind of blend together.
Well,
it's like one of those montages.
Yeah, they're all the same. Her calling.
But
it's okay. They can be the same.
Yeah,
as long as there's many of them.
So we have the next scene. We have Violet in the bathroom, cutting herself. But notice you don't get to see the blood this time.
Yeah, right. Di pointed that out yesterday.
Yeah.
This is when we see it, and you don't think about it until you go back and you look again, and you realize that's right. There was no blood because that's when Tate comes in and stops her, and he's like, "I don't do that anymore," and not since you. And I'm thinking, why does he care if you're cutting yourself? He knows you did.
But she doesn't know. She doesn't know she's dead yet.
Right. But he could have just left her alone. The only thing I can think is that he was worried that she was going to actually do like a decent cut. And because as we've seen, like the ghosts can die, but then they just revive right back. So maybe she would have actually died, and maybe he was worried she would know then that she's dead.
Or it could just be his normal
trying
reaction
to hide it from her.
Because all of our normal reactions are like, you see somebody cutting themselves with the razor blade, you're like, hey, no, don't do that. It can't just be a normal reaction.
That's true, because then now they're in Violet's room, and Tate's like
Violet/Tate's room.
Yeah, Violet/Tate's room, and then he's like, "Do you believe in ghosts?" And she's like, "Well, why are you asking me?" And then she's also talking about the fact that they planned this family dinner and she doesn't want to do it, and all of that. So
we also get at the dinner. I don't know how soon it is, but at the dinner we get the
dinner right after this.
Okay, so then we have the dinner, and basically it's more information, basically telling the audience she's dead.
Right.
You don't eat, you don't sleep.
You don't eat, you don't sleep. You never come out of your room.
Right. They say all of it right there.
Right there. And he's like, these are textbook signs of depression. And
depression and everything. And I'm like, buddy, you're way beyond that now.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, you brought me here. You bought a house that I actually like. And then you tell me you're going to sell it. And So, yeah, I'm depressed.
Bitchy teen, you're making me move. Typical. Yeah. I've been there. I've done it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the whole dinner thing, and then that's when Vivian talks about it. Then I'm going on the tour with Marcy so we can get all the dirt. So We know exactly what happened in this house, and
that's where we get the OJ reference.
Yep.
On the tour, and then we get that he introduces her on the bus. We've got a celebrity in the house. The owner of the murder house is here with us, and there's a little back and forth. So then we get the Montgomery murders. We finally found out what happens with Montgomery.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because Charles says that he used the beating heart of one of their girls as for the infanticide. So he slaughtered one of those girls alive and used their beating heart to do the infanticide. It's interesting that Ryan never further on that story. If there's any theories about who that girl is that they did that to.
Because before that scene even happened,
why do we never see those ghosts in the house? I mean, I get because it's not a main character type of thing, but Montgomery, they talk about how he did all those abortions. So why wouldn't we, even if we don't see babies, why wouldn't we constantly hear crying, at least from the basement? And they talk about later how some of the girls died and everything. So where
the one that he cut out the heart of, the beating heart, would have been like vengeful or something.
Right.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Because before that's even talked about, we have Moira opening the door, and Mr. Iskandarian comes back and says, I'm constantly drawn. I had to come back. I'm constantly drawn to this house.
Yeah.
And she shows him around the house, does the whole seduction scene. We're not going to get it. Blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing you know, he runs into Ben. Ben shakes his hand.
Well, he's all pissed off at first. He's like, what is he doing here? Who is this?
Who is this? And why
he's Moira flirting with him and everything. And he's like, what are you doing in here? Who is this? Who do you have in here?
Yeah.
And she tells him, this is Mr. Askadarian, whatever, he's here to buy your house, blah, blah. And then Ben suddenly changes real quick.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, hi.
Right. Oh, hi. And he starts telling him about the nice things about the house and this and that.
Yeah. And Escuderi's like, I'm just going to tear it down. Ben's like, okay, cool. And then he stops.
But Moira overheard it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the scene after that, we have Ben getting into Larry's apartment and scaring the shit out of him.
So tables left and right all over the place.
So tables have now turned because then we find out the backstory that Larry was never arrested, that he was basically institutionalized for 2 years.
Well, see, now Larry has got multiple stories for his backstory.
Yeah, he does,
and
multiple layers. He's like
especially when they keep showing it. So did we ever find out what the truth is behind what he did?
We actually found out he didn't. We found that out in this episode because he actually ended up telling Lorraine that he was in love with Constance, and he said
this version of events in today's episode.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah.
Michael, BRT said hi to you.
Hi.
But no, B pointed out, when Larry comes in to look at the house and he grabs the cookies and stuff and he's like, I have free stuff and champagne and he just starts licking the shit out of his fingers like sloppy and loud, and then he starts grabbing other stuff with his hands, and like you said, especially during a quarantine.
See, I probably tuned it out because I don't do mouth noises. I can't do mouth. I have that stigma, that fear of mouth noises. I mean, I literally will call a person out right dead smack in the middle of a crowded restaurant. I'd be like, enough. I can't do it. Oh God, I can't.
My husband gets on our kids all the time about eating with their mouth open. He'll do it to me too, and I'm like, no, don't you tell me how to eat.
Big Brother is the worst when you're watching the live feeds and they're on the mics and they're eating.
Yeah, because you hear like 20 people, right? And there's like you're only looking at one, and you hear all that.
That's horrible.
Too much.
Because you see Larry's fascination with the fireplace and the fact that he wants to see it lit.
But see, I think these events that they actually physically show us in this episode, I think that they even change when we get to the next one or the episode after, where Larry tells his story after Tate takes him down. So it's like it's
that evolving. As far as I know, the part with what happens to Larry doesn't happen until I think next episode.
Yeah,
We get the whole. We
and it's
get
a
the whole.
different take of events.
Yeah, we get the whole thing with what happened to Lorraine and the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This episode.
But again,
Because
he says that he says that he didn't burn them in this episode. If I'm
yeah,
not mistaken, I think he does burn them in the next episode.
yeah. All he said was, it wasn't a complete lie because they did die in the house.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because she did it. He didn't do it.
well, yeah, because he basically sat her down and said, you know, I'm in love with someone else and it's Constance, and she freaked out and said, you're gonna move her into my house, and he's like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, he told her, you and your kids gonna move out of my house. I'm like, damn, you even dumping the kids, dude?
Yeah. It's like, why don't you and you and the girls move back to Ohio and move in with your mother, and I'll continue to support you and blah blah blah. And
Right.
God, you're just a piece of work, aren't you?
And once again, the question proposes: what does Constance have to offer any of these men?
I don't know.
Right.
Hey, Buffy.
Oh,
Hey, Buffy.
same time every day, same time.
Same time every day.
You don't even have to be notified. We'll be here, same time every day.
Yep. So yeah, that was the whole thing, and the whole thing with Ben in the apartment, that whole situation. It's like, well, the tables have now turned. Now you know what it's like when somebody like sneaks into your house and freaks you out and stuff like that. It's like, ooh,
these
creepy.
people just coming and going in everybody's house. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, she ended up taking the girls, and she burned all three of them in the bedroom. That's what happened to the girls.
Yep. She locked the door and set it on fire.
But don't they show him doing it in the next episode?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Let's see, where am I at?
Well, asking.
Yeah, because he ended up going upstairs and calling for Lorraine, and all of a sudden he sees the smoke underneath the door.
Mm-hmm.
So he breaks the door open, and the entire room is on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the only scene that we get on that one. And then after that, that's when Marcy and Vivian take the murder house tour. So we get all that backstory with the
get all that backstory
thing and all of that. And one of the other good lines in that whole scene was Marcy saying, "Let's not put that in the brochure."
Yeah, let's not put that in the brochure.
Let's not put that whole thing in the brochure, because then they find out about the whole thing with Nora and what happened there, and the fact that the ghosts are still residing in the house.
Yep.
So let's see. I got most of the notes on this one until like the last 10 minutes of the episode.
Which was, well, Escondero gets his dick bit off by Moira, and because they set up the whole thing. Well, you got to stop him. They find out that he's going to make a shopping mall or condos or whatever, and so they're like, we got to stop this mess. So Constance and Larry and Ben and everybody's kind of all sided into this thing because Ben doesn't want the body exhumed, doesn't he? Larry doesn't want to go to jail because Ben's blackmailing him, and then Constance wants to keep her family. Moira wanted the body dug up, but now she found out it's just going to be cemented over. So they all got a stake in this. So they got to do something, and then Moira says, "I'll do it." So she going to bite off his dick. And she does, and then Larry kills her.
Pretty damn brutal, don't you think? I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And then
it's like, I don't like that. Damn, that's just not a way to go.
Well, and then they were like, hurry up and get him out of here before he bleeds to death. Get him off the property.
Yeah, because Larry suffocates him. Right. Larry suffocates him, so that's Larry's MO. And then they got to get him off the property so that he doesn't stay there.
They don't want him anywhere near the house.
Which again follows kind of along those lines of 1984 when they killed what's her name, Margaret. Wasn't that Margaret, right? Leslie Grossman's character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blanking. Okay, yeah, but they did the wood chipper to get her off.
Yeah, to get her off the property.
And then obviously it didn't work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things too, and it's like, did he die first? Did you get him quick enough?
Yeah.
Because basically in 1984, it's funny because Dylan's character.
Maybe that's what it is. Because 1984 was before, and the bad stuff happened, so they learned from their lessons, and now they did it the right way.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, this, of course, was another episode where there was a lot of information stuffed in there if you didn't catch it all.
How did this episode end?
I'm trying to remember. How did it end? Because it didn't end with Violet. I know that because that doesn't happen yet. Let me see.
Oh.
Let me go back to the synopsis.
I just watched it too.
I know, so did I.
Yeah, me too. I'm like,
I'm like all trying to cram everything into one thing. Let's see. Where am I?
Oh yeah, no, he's saying anything. I don't know. I gotta look at that thing. Let me see. Little Apple TV. Horror Story. Because I got saved where I just finished what?
Yeah. It's episode 7, Michael.
7?
That's where we are.
Episode
7. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We just finished it too. Okay, here we go.
I know.
Okay, there's the. Yeah, that's the biting off. I guess it ends with his murder.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, she does that. Get out of the house.
Before he expires, yeah.
Yeah, get him off the property before it expires. We don't want to see him.
Yeah, here's the last scene. It's Violet.
Is that the last scene?
It's Violet and Tate. No, wait, Violet and Connie.
This guy's pretty serious about buying the house. I mean, we won't know initially until the place.
Daddy is.
What about Dad?
Dad still has patience.
Dad still has patience.
First met. Wow, he was handsome and kind. But I don't know.
She asked about their early relationship.
It's kind of like you go crazy. Before you know it, the whole world was different. But yes.
Oh, the last scene is Vivian and Violet are talking about leaving the house, thinking the property deal is still on. Violet asks how Vivian knows.
She shows her the picture of the Montgomerys. That's right. That was the shock thing at the end. She shows her a picture of the Montgomerys, and Vivian recognizes them with the Montgomery. That's right.
Mm-hmm. I've seen her before. She was here at the house.
Yeah, Viv was like, "Oh shit, that's not good."
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where it ended.
Yeah, that was the whole.
That's
the bump moment
there.
What?
Okay. So yeah, that's how that whole episode ended. Because Vivian has seen Nora already, didn't realize that she's a ghost. And now she knows.
Now she knows she's like that kid from The Sixth Sense. She sees dead people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Any final thoughts, people?
Well, yeah, and I think there's one more little thing. I think was it this episode? Buffy saying that. Didn't they show Nora telling Tate that about the baby? Was that last?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, that's later. I think.
Yeah, that's in one of the episodes coming up. I don't remember which one, but So that is the conclusion of episode 7.
Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns.
Show your pretty face.
Hold on. I'm on a ladder. Hold on.
Hi, Nuka. Look at you.
Oh, Patty.
Where's Anuka?
Hi, Nuka.
Hi, Nuka. Hey, baby.
Duke, everybody saying hi. Like,
Hi, Nuka.
what are you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
So handsome.
Say hi. Say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi. What are you doing?
One of our mini mascots.
He's like, what the hell?
What the hell? Why am I... Dad, why are you holding me hostage?
Yeah, he does. He's like, what the hell?
What the hell, Dad? Why are you holding me hostage? I want to go.
It's too heavy.
All right. So basically, is there anything about this episode that we actually liked?
It's filler to me. I mean, the only thing I think the biggest thing about this episode was that you got the backstory of the Montgomerys, you got the backstory on Larry. So there's a lot of backstory kind of stuff filling it in.
Yeah.
But
I like that stuff because then it ends up making a lot more sense.
See, I like that stuff on an initial watch when we're getting the information and the information is like unfolding. And you're like, oh, okay, oh my god, that makes sense. Oh, that's great. But on a rewatch, this kind of thing's like, okay. These episodes are kind of like
go for it. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the good stuff. Yeah.
And real quick, I noticed in the comments,
no.
B was saying about YouTube slowing down the bandwidths and it, messing with the notifications and whatnot, slowing them down. They have done that actually, and they've announced it. Google's done it, Sprint's done it, because like my phone, like I'm surprised I haven't had any streaming issues with you guys yet.
Has done it.
I know with my Facebook Live I did today, I had some problems where it was cutting in and out and then it would reload. And it's because like I had like no signal, even though I would normally always have signal. But yeah,
today on our channel,
all the streaming platforms are slowing them down to accommodate all the traffic, because they've said the traffic's gone up like 70%.
Yeah, because everybody's home.
Everybody's at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did a Facebook Live on the Facebook page, Mike.
No, yeah, because I know there was one last night. I didn't know there was one today.
Yeah, she did one.
I did shopping at the Dollar Tree during a pandemic. You should check it out.
Yeah. We're trying to put some more content on there so we can get some more people.
I'll have to do some one-haul work when I'm working in there.
Yeah,
I can't work in there for a couple of days, though. My hands really hurt.
I gave all 4 of us access to the page. I mean, you're also an admin on there because I sent you a request.
Yeah, you just have to accept your request, Mike.
Oh, I got a request? From where?
Yeah, you just got to accept it.
I sent you a request to be an admin on that page so you guys have access to the page and can do what you want on that
Where do I see that?
Oh, don't say do what we want now. Come on, well, you know what's going to happen.
I mean. Yeah.
Chaos ensue.
You know what I mean.
Oh, I do. Chaos.
I don't see no invitation.
If you didn't get it, I'll send it to you again.
Debbie says she thought your wand was a vape.
All right, I guess we can do that. We're done with the episode.
Today, Michael.
If we have Harry Potter fans out there, especially Harry Potter movie fans, you would recognize this one. But if you don't, I'll tell you about it. This one right here. Little one.
Nice.
It's a little one.
Wait.
That's cute.
That's cute.
And it belongs to the single most evil character in all of the entire franchise.
Voldemort.
No.
We can't say his name out loud, though.
There's a teacher. Her name is Umbridge. And she's an old crotchety lady. And this is Umbridge's wand.
I love that word, crotchety.
Crotchety.
She's evil.
She is the most evil
read
character.
Her, the way J.K. Rowling wrote that character, she wrote her so well that you hate this woman. Reading these books, you can't get through the books. You hate this woman so much. Voldemort, you never hate her. Right? Voldemort is the bad guy. This woman,
you're supposed to hate her.
Oh, she's cruel. She's unnecessarily cruel.
Yes, and she prides herself on it. Ugh.
Yep. Played by a mental stent.
Mhm.
We should do a Harry Potter rewatch. Or
Oh,
watch
we will.
for the
I'm
first
pretty
time.
I don't see why we shouldn't. I mean, why not? We'll get through all this and then find something else to do.
God, because we actually might get through all this. It might last that long.
It might last that long.
You know what we should do for a Harry Potter rewatch if we're going to do it? We should do reaction video. Watch it live.
Yeah, but we can't stream the movie.
Well, we can't show the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out a way to do that.
We could all be watching it on our devices while we're streaming.
Yeah.
Well, me, I watch Harry Potter every day.
Plus, I got to look into it, but Facebook has like watch parties and stuff for stuff. I don't know what happens with that, but
they do.
But you
Yeah.
can
A lot of
do
people
that?
are doing them now. I mean, a lot of YouTubers that I watch are doing watch parties now because it kills 2 hours, you know?
Right. So maybe that's what we'll do. We'll save our
Debbie
Harry
says,
Potters.
Debbie says this about Umbridge. Ooh, the pink bastard. Detestable because she wears all pink. She's all about pink. Pink and little kittens.
Ugh.
She's evil.
Yeah,
she's absolutely evil.
She was the worst character.
Oh, yes. That's what I say. I always tell people, read the books first. Like I said, I told her to read the books.
And you know what, though? And you know what? A tip, because I love books, but you don't always have time. And if you have a life and kids, I mean, I know we're in quarantine, but still sometimes people can't read a book in a day. Get the audiobook. And I know those are already audiobooked.
I have them all on my phone. I have all the audiobooks on my phone.
Just get the audiobook because you can just put it on your phone or pop in some headphones, walk around, do what you're doing.
Yeah,
you know,
the longest
Audible. If you download Audible at audible.com, they have a free month trial or 14-day or month or something trial.
Yeah. I think they extended it.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. Which makes me mad. Make me mad because I woke up this morning, had a $15 charge from Audible this morning because I forgot to cancel it because yesterday was the last day.
Oh no!
The longest book, Audible-wise, or the longest book of the series, the big thick one, Order of the Phoenix, is 26 hours on the audiobook. So one day.
That's number 7, right?
5.
Oh, it's 5. Okay.
5. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I'm just saying because audiobooks are a lot easier when you're moving around. You have stuff to do.
I'm listening to Rise of Skywalker right now.
Some people are auditory rather than visual too. It worked better that way. So hearing it, you retain it and remember it better than actually reading it. So
yeah, because I listen to mine through my Alexa all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, don't say her name. She's going to come on.
Who?
Yeah. Alexa, turn on.
Yeah, I'm actually listening to Rise of Skywalker, the novel, right now.
Is it on?
No.
Oh, damn it. You got to turn it on. We're going to play with that thing later, Dawn.
No. Well, it's bad enough because we have 2 of them in the house. So my brother had to change his so that we weren't turning both of them on.
Turning each other's on. You know what? It's funny. I watched like a funniest home video type of thing, like a funny video where this guy was messing with his dad because they had him like that. And so he would turn it on in the living room and it would turn on the lights in the TV, I guess, in the living room. And he was in the kitchen with the other one and he would tell the one in the kitchen, he was whispering to it, Alexa, turn off TV or turn off lights. And the dad didn't know. I guess his son doesn't live with him. He snuck in the house to say hi or whatever. And so the guy just kept thinking his stuff and he keeps getting madder and yelling at Alexa really loud.
I yell at Siri all the time. Siri turns on and I'm like, stop it, shut up. Or Siri asks me a question, do you want me to do this? And I'm like, no, fuck off.
All right, so guys, we're going to be turning right around and doing our next stream in about 15 minutes.
So
there's
watch
our link for that one. And so we're going to jump off here, but we will obviously be back tomorrow to continue.
Same time, 10 o'clock.
Same time, same channel.
Or 10 o'clock, Buffy. 10 o'clock, Buffy. 10 o'clock. Same time. For us, 3 o'clock. For Mel, 5
and
o'clock.
don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you don't miss anything. And all of our information to get in touch with us is in the description down below. And so we will be back tomorrow. Everybody have a great day. Those of you who are following us over to the other stream, we'll be there in a few minutes. All right. We'll talk to you later, guys.